Yo, America, planet Earth, what's good? This your boy Codell, and welcome back to another episode of Father's Gospel Podcast. I'm super excited. We got the one and only Robert Garza back in the house. Mr. Garza, what is going on? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, dude, I'm so happy to have you back. Man, like always, you are just absolutely killing it. And I mean that in the best way possible. All the things I've been seeing from your involvement with pushing forward the parental rights bill to all these bills that you've got going forward in Texas and other states to a couple of incredible speeches. Man, we got a lot to get into. So are you ready? Are you ready, Mr. Garza?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right. So here we go. All right. You're going to love this, man. All right. So, my first question for you, right, is during those 15 years in family court and across 43 false allegations, what was the single moment when you realized that fighting for individual case wasn't enough and that you had to fight to change the whole entire system?
I always believed in the system. I still believe in the system. I just think it has a lot of flaws, but I think it was probably my tipping point was after the judge took 100 days after final trial to rule and got everything wrong. Uh, you know, eh, she ruled on things that I didn't plead for, that my ex didn't plead for. At that point, I understood why the system needed to change.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, man, that 100 days, that's crazy. Okay. So, you've described spending $700,000 and losing 2.5 to 3 years of time with your children due to precautionary court decisions. I know there's a lot of dads, especially out there, that can relate to this. Yet you emerge from that experience focused on legislative solutions rather than personal vengeance. I love that. So, how did you make that psychological shift and what kept you from becoming bitter?
Well, knowing that there was a solution was a lot of it. Again, God was the biggest part of it, and not losing my faith. Um, I just asked Him for this to not be all for nothing, and
Right.
be careful what you wish for because He gave it to me.
Bro, I can relate to that so much. So I don't know if I've shared this with you. I don't even know if I've shared this on the show. But when I found my son and then I got my finances situated to move up here to Spokane, I moved 500 miles, right? And within a month of me living up here, I was seeing him every week, all that good stuff. The courts allowed him to move. I think you know this, right? I remember when I found out that he was going to be another 250 something miles away from me. I was freaking devastated. But I fell to my knees that night and I prayed to God and I told God, I was like, God, if I have to sacrifice time with my son in order to do my part to help change the system and not pass it on to the next generation, I'm willing to freaking make that sacrifice. And like you just said a second ago, be careful what you wish for because it's happening, man. I mean, with connecting with people like you and all these other individuals, my prayers are being answered and God is definitely putting us through the fire, brother. So, yeah, yeah.
But I think like anything, if you know that you have to go through a transformation, I always think about caterpillars on flowers and stuff. And I have some in the backyard. I have a whole big thing about that. Did I
Okay.
ever tell you about that? The passion vine
No, no,
story?
please tell
All
tell
right.
me, yeah.
So check this out. This is how amazing God is. So there's a vine. It's called a passion vine. It's called a passion flower, and it grows on this vine. Every part of that vine has to do with the passion of Christ. The flower
Oh,
itself is has looks like it's a crown of thorns.
okay,
In the middle of it, it has three stamens, or I'm sorry, five stamens, and that stands for the five wounds. And then it has
okay,
three things in the middle of it too to pollinate it, and that stands for the three nails.
okay,
Now, the vine has these little tendrils on it that are whips, right? So when God was or Jesus was on the cross and they whipped him and stuff like that. Every part has to do with it. Now, I'm in the backyard, there's these butterflies everywhere, looks like a butterfly park in my
yeah,
backyard, and they lay the eggs on the leaves, and then the leaves, these little caterpillars start coming up after a couple weeks, whatever, and they start eating the leaves.
Okay.
So I'm back there and I'm watching this happen, and a butterfly comes and it lands on the flower and it starts eating the nectar, and beautiful butterflies.
Okay.
So I'm like, I wonder what would happen if I take this caterpillar and I put it on the flower that it's going to
Yeah.
need in its next life. I
Okay.
think like that. I don't know. And
No, I
so,
love it.
yeah, so this caterpillar, what do you think it did?
It, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming it set up its home on the plant, and yeah, tell me.
You would think. And so all I did was the caterpillar, since I put on there, it just kind of walked around it and then went right back down to the leaf. At that point, I had an epiphany. And that
Okay.
is that caterpillar, just like us, if God just handed us stuff, we wouldn't even recognize it, even though that's what I just did. I gave this caterpillar what he's going to need in his next life, and he had no clue what it was.
Uh,
He wasn't ready for it. He had to go through the transformation to understand what he's going to need. And at that point, that caterpillar is not earthbound anymore. So
right.
you're going through whatever you're going through because you have to. And in your next version of you is going to be a better you. And just as long as you can get through that transformation first.
Man, it is so true because I mean, again, and I'm talking about myself. None of this has been fun, but because I've given it to God and I see the bigger picture in the long run, this all has been a blessing in disguise, and it has molded me into a better man than I was before any of this. So I know I'm as weird as it is, I'm kind of thankful, even though I miss my son right now, but we're gonna get that issue solved. So awesome, dude. I love that. It's called the passion vine. Is that the
Yeah, it's
plant?
called a passion vine. Yeah.
Okay,
And it
okay.
and when it's pollinated, it turns into passion fruit, which is like my favorite fruit. And that's why I grow the vines in my backyard.
Do you mind if I pull up a picture of it real
No, go
quick?
ahead, do it.
Okay, yeah, yeah. This has got me curious. Okay. Let's see.
Yeah,
Here
and
we
and
let
while you're doing that, check this
Yeah.
out. So the other day I went to court with my ex again,
Okay.
and she has her old attorney and her new attorney.
Okay.
And oh, maybe I ought to tell you this. I'll tell you this off of record, off
Okay.
air. 'Cause, yeah, this is probably not the best story to tell, but
Okay. Okay.
but
Real
it's
quick,
very
guys, and then
interesting.
then we'll keep it moving. This is the passion vine right here. So is that
Let me
that
see.
is that the right one? Can you see it?
Yeah, that's it. But that
Okay.
type in passion flower, and you can see.
Passion flower?
Yeah,
Okay. Is the fruit good?
it's amazing.
Okay. Alright.
I'll have to send you one.
Yeah, I was about to ask you. Okay, passion flower. You already know, Garza, you already know. Okay.
That's it.
Yes, I remember you showing me this. I've never seen this until you showed this to me.
Yeah, so
Like,
if you click on it, the flower around it is the crown of thorns, or
right.
it symbolizes the crown of thorns, and then 5 wounds, and then 3 nails. It's a beautiful flower. Oh, and then underneath the petals, there's 11, and so it stands for the 11 faithful disciples. So, anyway,
Okay, hold up. I'm sharing the right screen, guys. I'm jumping around here screwing things up. Okay. That is what the flower looks like. So
if you
oh,
click
never
on it, it should. But
yeah.
anyway, yeah, it's the flower.
Anyways, yeah. So it's a beautiful flower. All right, you guys, let's keep it moving. We're getting a little sidetracked here. All right. So my next question for you, Garza, is all right. So the time taken time back law passed unanimously through Texas, something rare in modern politics. Love it. Yet domestic violence organizations initially pushed back on your work. So, how did you navigate the legitimate concerns about protecting abuse survivors while also protecting parents from false allegations weaponized in custody disputes?
Again, God, uh, Robert Garza himself, whatever I am, could not have came up with what I did if it weren't for
Right.
God. And if you think about it, like even the 3 strikes law, nobody can argue it. First, let's just talk about the domestic violence part of it. So it's
Okay.
great for protective parents. So domestic violence people can't argue it, that you're going from a felony to 2 misdemeanors before the felony.
Right.
Cops can't argue it because now they're making money when they go out instead of wasting resources. judges aren't against it because now you're reinforcing what the judge has already ruled, so they can't be against it.
Mm.
I mean, and if you're the targeted parent, it's literally taken care of within 7 days. I love that magical number anyway, but it's literally taken care of
7's a
within 7
great
days.
number.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the first $500 fine is on Thursday. That's the first possession. Second possession's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So literally by that next following Thursday, you're either getting arrested or you're handing over the kids, one of the two.
So
And
that 3
so,
strike they can't drag those 3 strikes out over months, like,
nope.
no, that's a no-go. That yeah.
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then the
beautiful.
DAs love it because it shows a pattern of bad behavior. There's
Right.
hardly any legislation that you can think of that encompasses all positive.
Yeah. 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 I love the Bills. I mean, we got them here in Washington, you guys. We're in the early stages of pushing them out here, and there's a lot of states beyond Texas where Garza is at that have also had success getting his legislation passed in their own state. So go to Robert Garza, what, .us?
Yep.
Yeah,
Sign up
yeah,
to be an advocate,
yeah.
download the bills, go to your state, set up a Zoom call, just copy paste the email to your legislator, and we're ready to
Do you
go.
have any other, as far as the bills go, is there any states you still have left to adjust for the bills? Because I mean, I know you've been covering all 50 states, so it's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Well, I have about 9 bills on the website. I have about
Okay,
15 total.
okay.
So there's quite a few more I have to amend, but right now I've been traveling so much. I'm trying to do them in the airplane. It's kind of crazy, and then Wi-Fi and whatever else. So it hadn't been working well. I've just been going. I was just in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania on Monday
Yeah,
and Tuesday. Left at 3 a.m. Well. First of all, I left at 3 a.m. Dallas to get to Harrisburg,
right.
and then, in Harrisburg, Monday, Tuesday, left Harrisburg at 3 a.m. on Tuesday, got to Denver, Colorado for the, um, march, and then it's just been a blur.
No, it's crazy. I mean, because I talk to you all the time, so I know how busy you are. You know, I see you all over the place, and it's impressive because as busy as you are, yeah, I'm always able to get a hold of you. So I'm like, all right, well, thank you, Mr. Garza. All right, I got another question for you. So check this out. So your 14 bill legislative package includes accountability measures for guardian ad litem, court mandated remote hearings, a 10-day ruling requirement, and other systematic reforms. So how did you identify these specific loopholes, and what do you see as the most critical change that would prevent other families from experiencing what you and many have had to endure?
Yeah, very good question.
Thank you.
So the first 3 are the most important ones. So the New Start at Equality.
Okay.
The problem is even if you have that, they can still hijack your time with a false allegation or interference with child custody. So the time taken, time back is a must for every state, and so is the 3 strikes. Those 2 will ensure, that you have constant contact with your child, and then a New Start Equality. I have a funny story about the New Start Equality. So in my New Start Equality, it's a one-pager. It's a 50-50 shared parenting bill for all 50 states. I was just talking to, majority leader in Denver, Colorado,
Okay.
and we were talking about the domestic violence stuff. Here is all of your argument for domestic violence. You ready for this one?
I'm ready. I want to hear
The
this.
50-50 shared parenting. It just came to me. I'm telling you, this stuff just like downloads. And so if you think about it, a New Start Equality, if you're a domestic violence survivor, you don't want to
Yeah.
go see your abuser, right? So right now with standard possession, I calculated it up. That's every first, third, and fifth weekend and every Thursday. And if you have Thursday for 2 hours, then you're exchanging your kid 2 times at 6 o'clock and at 8 o'clock. You're seeing your that same person twice that day.
Okay.
That's over 100 and some exchanges with standard possession
Right.
that you're exchanging your child with, let's just say, your domestic violence survivor.
Yeah, you're
And
talking about
so
throughout the year.
you're with your abuser, right?
You're right.
And so with 50-50, now it's 1 week on, 1 week off. That's only
Hmm.
56 exchanges. And even more so during the school year, you never see your abuser because now you're dropping off your child at school, they're picking them up. So for the whole school year, you don't see your abuser or have a chance to interact with them. So for domestic violence survivors, 50-50 is the best choice that you could possibly imagine because
I
it's
love
less
that.
exchanges.
Yeah,
It's less
dude,
exchanges and you never see them.
that is beautiful because then it gives the victim, if they're a victim, it gives them the protection they need. But then also, if someone's falsely accused, it actually protects them as well by setting the exchanges up through the schools and having less exchanges because what you said it's every other week or every week that they're
Yeah, even if
getting
you do every 1
exchanged.
week on, 1 week off, that's only 56 exchanges max. So your only time that you're exchanging them is in the summer that you ever see your other person. Now, the best thing about that too, when you're doing 50-50, the best schedule you can do is 1 week on, 1 week off in the school year, but in the summer, do 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. That way you both have enough time to travel, whatever, but
You're
now
right,
those
right.
exchanges are only one time every 2 weeks. Standard possession, you're changing that kid every first, third, and fifth weekend still, even in the summer, plus your 30 days.
Yeah, yeah, it just and with everything you just said right there too, third thing, it obviously adds more stability for the children because they're, "Okay, I'm here for a week, now I'm here for a week," versus all this weird scheduling, and I like with the adjustment in the summer because, again, it's like, yeah, people go on vacation, they do all that good stuff, and a lot of times I've seen this, it's happened in countless cases, we know this, summertime comes up, bickering happens, people want to use summer to keep a parent away from another parent so that or a child so they can't go on vacation, all that stupid stuff. So, dude, nice work, Garza. I love it. Okay.
Yeah. There shouldn't be any domestic violence groups uh, against 50-50 parenting because it keeps that conflict away. You're not seeing your abuser if that's what happened. And as long as, they're a safe parent, not abusing the kids or whatever, because, some people could have taken some, courses or whatever. Or the problem is with the water and oil mixture of you and your ex had
Right.
nothing to do with the kid.
Well, and one of the uncomfortable stats that people really don't want to address is when it comes to domestic violence cases, most of the time it's actually mutual abuse. It's usually the people beating the shit out of each other, not treating each other well. It's usually not just one side just completely abusing the other. It's usually both sides not treating each
Yeah,
other too
and that's
well.
why the
So,
marriage ended, so leave it at
right.
that and move on.
Right. And like what you just said a moment ago with any organization that doesn't support equal shared parenting, to me, like folks, I want you to realize, I want you to think about this. That should be an automatic red flag for you because the only situations you should not be supporting equal shared parenting is when there's undeniable evidence of, physical abuse, sexual abuse along those lines. Besides that, like there's no reason for there not to be equal shared parenting. So, okay, let me ask you this, Garza. So, your 14 bill legislative package includes accountability measures for wait, no, 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 we already did this. Let me keep it moving. Let me not repeat myself. Okay. So, you framed your 50-50 custody presumption bill as abolishing slavery rather than merely implementing equal parenting. That's powerful language. So, can you explain why you chose that framing and what you believe it reveals about the current family court system?
Yeah, so when I was thinking about this, it's, women have equal rights, African Americans wanted equal rights, there was a lot of things that went on in, world history, the Holocaust, all of these big things, and I could have went on, but I just picked
Right.
several of them real quick. And I compared it to 50-50 because right now, why are people fighting so hard against this when it's equality? And so one day we're going to look back at this as a stain on our history, and history is going to remember those who were against it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sadly, honestly, like it hurts me to say this, kind of angers me to say this, but I think overall especially like 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now, we're going to look back at basically the last 50, 60 years of history and kind of just be embarrassed by it. Like, I think we have made so many mistakes. And I mean this from the boomers to the Gen Xers to millennials. I'm a millennial and I get it. Like, there's great people in all generations.
No, you're
Yeah.
100% correct.
Yeah, yeah, it really angers me. Okay, so your daughters are now 15 and 18 and have lived their entire adolescence knowing their childhood trauma and your pain became the foundation for your national advocacy. So how does that knowledge affect your relationship with them, and do they support or resent your public work, around your family's private struggles? What's that been like?
So both of my daughters at some point, in the last 4 or 5 years, so we the parents came out. They were very supportive. Of course, their mom tried to spin it that I was trying to get famous off of their hurt and pain, or that I was trying to make money when it wasn't even my movie at all. So it's like, again, it's just twisting truths. And so, but yeah, they've been very supportive. My older one came with me to CPAC and was helping us recruit people to interview, and that was neat because she also got to school athlete to interview because of all the
Wait,
stuff. And
repeat that one more time. It was cutting out. She got to do what?
oh, the older went to CPAC with me,
Right.
and so she got to see when we're walking by people they wanted to interview me, and so she was like, "Wow, like it's strange." So it was neat for her to see. And
Yeah,
then
that's
when we
cool.
were interviewing people, it was, "So, view this person." She was like, "Can I go?" I'm like, "Yeah." So she there and she was very, like very to the tens and went up and asked, "Hey, we're da 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 da. Can we interview da da?" And so they were like, "Yeah, of course." So that was neat to see.
Oh,
And then
so
my younger
she's got some interview experience under her belt now.
well, you have no idea. She's a go-getter.
I'm not
Yeah.
surprised, you know? Yeah,
Yeah, when I
yeah,
go see President Trump, she was in debate in high school, and so she
okay,
sent me a video, and it was
yeah,
about 2 minutes long, and she was like, "Dad, when you go to President Trump, can you show him this video?" And I was like, "Oh, honey, like, I don't think he has 2 minutes of." I was like, "But I'll tell you what, I'll tell him what you said." And she was like, "Okay." I was like, "But if you could make it shorter, like maybe 15 seconds, I can probably do that." And
right.
so it was cute, but,
Did
anyway.
you tell her to send the clip into, Riverside, could cut it into little shorts for her?
You know what? Her clip was amazing. I
I
was just
bet.
you're gonna see her, I think she was, 15 then, and 15 yeah, that was about 3 years ago. So,
Oh,
she was
okay,
15 then, and she was amazing. So,
okay.
anyway,
Now is this your oldest or your youngest? Because you got 2, right?
older, yeah, yeah, it was
Okay.
the older. And then,
So cool, man.
my youngest one, yeah, she's all for this. I mean, she knows what's going on.
I love it, Garza. I love it, man. Raising good kids, got a good family. I love seeing it, brother. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So let me ask you this. So when you discovered that your ex-wife was making false CPS reports through proxy rather than directly, and that CPS investigators only substantiate 15 to 18% of allegations, which is shocking. How do you come to understand that the system itself was broken rather than simply that your case was mishandled?
Well, it definitely wasn't mishandled because all I had to bring up was, okay, did the mom make the allegation? They're like, well, we don't know who did it, but it was reported to us by a mandatory reporter. And I'm like, okay. I was like, has mom ever came in here and said, hey, because that's the first thing I would do. If I was a parent and my kids are being abused or anything else, I would go directly to CPS and say, hey, you need to investigate. My ex is doing A, B, C, and D. She
Right,
never once did that. And so that's a big telltale. She knew that she would get sued, if for false allegations if she would have done it directly. So she never did. And I really didn't even think it was her at first because I was just like, she would never do this. This is nah, no way. I just thought it was a misunderstanding. And that's what I think everybody goes through. They're like, wait a minute, this is a misunderstanding, whatever. But then you got to realize that those allegations, when they're egregious enough, could put you in jail. And so
Right.
you better start treating them very serious. The biggest thing you can do is timeline. So if you're married for like 6 years and there were no allegations of abuse or neglect, and your kid's now 6 years old, all of a sudden you file for divorce and now you're a monster, a molester, an abuser. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
That show, if you could just get that out to CPS or to any, or even to law enforcement or to the family court system, that will stop a lot of those games to continue.
Yeah, yeah, it's important too. I mean, they can be a struggle. I mean, I'm speaking from my own experience because I've done that. But and you already know this. If the courts ignore it, they just ignore it. But nevertheless, you guys, you still want a timeline because if you get that timeline down, inevitably you are going to have some undeniable evidence that when you get it in front of the right court, it'll it it'll start to swing in your favor. Is what I'm trying to say. So.
Yeah, just stay with it. It takes a while
Yeah,
to sort through who's lying or whatever, but
right,
eventually, I never really, I mean, I was worried about it, but I didn't take it that serious. Even my attorneys were like, look, this is serious. Like she's saying that, or, they're investigating you for all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't care. I didn't do it.
right.
And, you know, with
Yeah,
God's help. And like I said, I just had to go through the fire, I guess, to be able to figure out what the legal loopholes were and how they were able to weaponize CPS. Because now I'm not just fixing the family court, I'm also fixing CPS and returning those resources back to CPS to really investigate children really being hurt, and to the
right.
DA because of all these, to disincentivize false allegations. This is going to continue too.
Oh, yeah, I mean, because, with you talking about CPS, really, again, all this is intertwined, all this is connected, it's all just one giant, just satanic system of corruption, like, when it comes to yeah, so, yeah, CPS has gotta get addressed, it's gotta get dealt with, and yeah, it's all bad, but, alright, you know what, Garza? I wanna play a video of you real quick. This is you giving your speech because I think people need to bro, that is powerful stuff, dude. I mean, what made you think of that? What inspired you to do that? And did you have any hesitation as far as the comparisons you made, between, what's going on? See, I love that. I love that.
I think they're spot on.
Yeah.
That came to me. I have a whole, like, I have so many sayings that I don't even have enough days to like post them all. One day I will, but they're like that, and so I felt that that one was appropriate for that, that capital. So, and then
Yeah.
I went to
Yeah.
the next capital and did another one. So,
Yeah. So what capitals were those? That first
that
one
one
was in Texas or what?
that one was just read in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah, yeah, and they need this out there, so, yeah, nice work, yeah,
Well, at some point you have to call them out, and it's exactly that. It's shameful, and it's a stain on our society right now that people are fighting against this. Like it's like the civil rights movement, with the African Americans and everything else. Like you're gonna look back at this and be like, wow, that everyone was fighting against this. Why? Same thing with abolishing slavery. People that were against it to abolish it. Look, now you'd be like, whoa, why you're against, like, you wanted slavery? People are gonna look at you like you're crazy.
I
That's what's
know.
gonna happen in the next 10 to 20 years. Once it's already done, you're gonna look back and be like, "You were against 50-50? Like, what is wrong with you?"
Yeah, I know. It seems so obvious to me, but as I go out and talk to people, again, I am seeing the shift, but still when I go out and talk to people, it just they don't even necessarily they haven't even thought about these things. And then when you are able to communicate it to them in a way that they can digest, a lot of times they're on board. They're like, "Oh, wow. Like, yeah, we this is definitely something we need to change." Like, when I was at the event the other night with Scott Pressler here, I was waiting in line And I'm always talking about the family court stuff. You know, this is, I mean, you get me in a group of people, I can't help myself. And so I was talking to this older couple, and I was bringing up these exact points that you're talking about now, and the lady was just, she was just like, "Yeah, I never thought of that." And it was just, yeah, it's really good. So want to be able to change people's minds. All right, let me ask you this, dudes. You've now, this is crazy, you guys. You've now drafted approximately 450 bills across 9 bills per state for all 50 states. How do you maintain that emotional authenticity and personal stakes of your advocacy when you're operating at this national scale? And do you worry about your message becoming diluted or bureaucratized?
No, not at all. I don't think it's going to be diluted at all. I think it's going to be saturated, and I'm hoping it saturates everywhere. It didn't stop with just the US. Now it's Canada, Australia, South Africa, different languages I'm having to translate to put these bills because it's the same issue. This is a human rights issue. It's not like a local
Garza,
issue
would
or just
you,
a US
sorry to
issue.
interrupt, but would you say that this issue, because I mean, I know about the issues with the UK, Australia, over here in Western nations, and even in China, would you say that this is something that's affecting even a lot of Eastern nations and just the world in general? Or
It's a global issue,
it is a
100%.
global issue?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so it's not just a Western issue, because a lot of times if when you listen to media, independent media, it's always pushed as like this is a Western issue, but okay. Yeah.
No, in fact, it's worse in Australia and Canada right now. They're getting the brunt of it, and it's getting worse. And so, some of my bills are amended for all those countries also. And so, this is the solution for all of it. It's the same problem, and that's the crazy part. It's the same problem everywhere, and it's the same solution. It's just you have to amend their laws and put it in. So,
Right, right.
same
Well,
fix.
and I think too here in America, we have, don't get me wrong, I mean, we've been getting shafted. All this has been just completely corrupt. But I do think because of the way our constitution was set up, we have big advantages to get things changed over other countries. And honestly, I'm just putting this out there, UK, Australia, all the other countries. I encourage y'all to maybe look at our US Constitution and start adapting it to your country. So that way you get some of these, you get all these rights. They're given to you by God, because that's the difference between our Constitution and your guys' constitutions. Our rights are given to us by God. Your rights and your constitutions are given to you by government. Big freaking difference. That adds that extra layer of security. But anyways, I'm getting a little off track. So yeah.
No, you're
Okay.
right.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, no, that's, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, that this is not just a Western issue. Okay, let me ask you this. So the Texas three strikes law, it creates escalating penalties for custodial interference, but you've also emphasized that this addresses mind control and psychological abuse of children. I love that. Can you articulate where you see the line between legitimate protective parenting concerns and the deliberate alienation that warrants criminal consequences?
That's a lot. Um, so without you reading it again, just off the top of my head,
I mean, if you need me to read it again, I got you.
I think, you can tell when there's someone being a protective parent and someone that's being vindictive. And let's just say I thought my ex was abusing my child. And if there was an investigation and it was ruled out, then I'd be like, hey, you know what? I'm so sorry. That bruise didn't come from you. Now it's been investigated with some kid on the playground. I'm
Right,
so sorry. I took 2 weeks away from you. Here's 2 weeks back. Like I would be genuine. Here you go.
right.
That's how you can tell the difference between a protective parent and someone that's just being a narcissist or abusive.
I agree. I think it's pretty easy. I mean, maybe at first, they can hide it for a initially, but after a while, it's really easy to see who they are because they just constantly reveal themselves. Okay. So, last question, Mr. Garza. You've described how you initially agreed to supervise visits and other conditions just to maintain any contact with your children. This is something that I think a lot of dads do. And you've acknowledged that this became difficult to undo legally. Looking back, what would you tell parents currently in the midst of family court battles about which compromises are worth making and which ones ultimately damage their cases?
Man, it's crazy because you can see a lot of little points or whatever, but I think the most one is that if you do supervise visits or anything else, if there's false allegations, go ahead and, fight it, of course. But as soon as that allegation is ruled out, or they're actually, and sometimes they're not, there is just no finding of abuse or neglect. Because if I tell you Santa Claus is real and you tell me they're not, I mean, how are each one of us going to prove that? You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
It was made up. So other than hard facts or whatever, that's why they just say no finding of abuse or neglect because it's like, Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, we're not going to argue about this. There's no finding, whatever.
So
But
it
we're
just
not
goes
going to
back
say,
to,
okay, they're really not real. See what I'm saying?
yeah.
And that's
Basically
what they
go
do.
back to following the law, the Constitution, and do things how it
Yeah.
should be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as soon as that is ruled out or no finding of abuse or neglect, you should immediately tell your attorney to dissolve that protective order, restraining order. Don't do it before the allegation is investigated. I did that several times and wasted so much money going into court saying, "Look, judge, this is such BS." And they're like, "Well, judge, there's an open case. Do you want to be that judge that, if there is finding, give them back their kid before that?" Every time the judge said no. But after it got ruled out, judge is like, "Okay, here's your kid back."
Right.
So don't go to court too soon. Just wait it out. You're going to get your kid back. It's not forever. And go back and dissolve that protective order, restraining order. Don't file a bunch of new crap that, you want primary custody now and all this other stuff because you're going to cause more litigation. And then you're still not going to have your kid. You're still going to be supervised until you get in there for that new hearing or whatever. The biggest
Yeah.
part is just dissolve that protective order, restraining order, and then do whatever you're going to do. But do that first to get your kid back.
And you guys, I know from personal experience, and I mean, guards, it sounds like you know too, definitely get that restraining order, that no contact order resolved because I mean, I know it's a mess. It's taken me, I'm on year 4 almost, and I'm just now finally getting my no contact order untangled. Well, my temporary parenting plan untangled, excuse me. And it's just because I basically had to figure out where to go for everything and find all the resources myself because the freaking courts, they don't they don't help you out with that shit. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, so stay patient, you guys.
The other
But
thing is, if they filed something against you and you're on protective order, restraining order, and then they're filing to suit, to get primary or whatever, when that investigation is ruled out, you can go back and vacate the order or whatever because that was based on, if they give you a new order since then, you can vacate that order because it was based on false allegations. So you can go backwards, but you have to fight it that way. A lot of people don't understand that, and you'll understand if you have a case like that without
that's what
having.
that's what I'm doing because I mean I have stacks of evidence proving entrapment for the no contact order. I've got evidence showing I was never served the no contact order, all this stuff they've ignored. But I'm getting it all laid out because eventually they can't ignore it. So yeah, no, definitely.
And if they don't
Garza.
have jurisdiction and all kinds of things, your attorneys play games too. But
Oh
if you
yeah.
know the law and they had no jurisdiction in the first place, you can vacate the orders and all kinds of stuff.
Right. Well, and you guys too, like with attorneys, I mean, honestly, yeah, if you find a good attorney, that's great. But it is easier than ever to represent yourself because of AI. And so I just honestly, I really recommend you just getting yourself educated on the law. And here's the thing, like you don't need to know every single freaking law. You just need to figure out what you're going to apply to your case and then what you need to apply to your case and get yourself educated on that. And again, with AI, it's easier than ever to do this stuff. So But yeah, Garza, man, let me ask you this, because this is something that I'm always contemplating in my head, trying to figure out, and I'm working on. Do you have any advice on how we can bridge the gap between men and women when it comes to this issue? Because they've definitely done media has done a good job of brainwashing, even good women, on this issue. There's still the myth of the deadbeat dad and all that type of stuff. So, I mean, do you have any advice on how we can bridge that gap between men and women to help get the good women on our side to start supporting and being more vocal on the issues?
Yeah. All of this that we're seeing is a non-gender issue. It always is and always
I
has
agree.
been.
Yeah.
The media and everyone else is trying to turn you against each other. What you need to be is for the children. And you'll never see on any of my stuff that I say men's rights, women's rights. I'm not for that. I'm for parental rights and children's rights. And as long as you can get that in your head, all of these bills are non-gender, they're bipartisan. I'm telling you, this is going to fix a lot of those issues. Um, you have to stop. It's not a women and men's issue. This is your
I agree.
children's issue. And I think the tables are turning, and I'm trying to put as many messages out there that I have that I think this way. And when we can work together, we can fix these problems so our children don't have these problems.
Right.
This is spiritual battle. It's a human rights battle. And if we want to fix this, right now is the best time to fix it.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
but but yeah, I think, it
No, I agree, man. I mean,
changing.
we're living in incredible times right now. I mean, we're always in spiritual warfare, but man, spiritual warfare is freaking amped to the T the last 10 years. So you better get in there and be ready to fight, or else you're getting your butt kicked regardless, but you'll be victorious. Yeah, no, I agree, man. And bigger picture wise, connecting all the dots, like for the good, it is hurting everybody. And I think it's harder to see, and I believe this for men and women. I think it's harder for men and women to see how this has a negative impact on women, but it actually does because men are checking out a marriage in record numbers or not going into relationships, and the ripple effect that's having is not all women are bad. There's a lot of quality women out there, but because of the issues with the family courts, divorce courts, men are checking out, and so it's leaving these incredible women like basically struggling to find good men because of the way the system's set up. And so now we have these good women that they're not able to build families with good men. So like it is affecting women. And like, so good ladies could come, yeah, continue to get on board with us because we need you to push back against these feminists and all these other organizations that don't want to see our families succeed.
If this issue isn't fixed, there's gonna be more domestic violence at the end of this. If they think they're trying to protect someone from something, they're actually causing it.
Yeah. Yep.
They're allowing these false allegations and the alienation to take place, and that's only gonna breed more turmoil and more issues in people. And so it doesn't matter if you have a daughter or a son. If there's alienation and that just keeps going, it's going to perpetuate all these people. And then there's going to be a lot of hurt people hurting others. And
Well,
you're
and
not
there
going to
is
see marriages.
Yeah, and there's already so many hurt people. I mean, it's like 40 to 50% of the children now in this country are raised without dads in the home, and that is exponentially increased. And if we allow that to increase, I mean, how much worse are we going to let it get before we fix it? And we are fixing it right now. But I'm trying to make a point here. And so, yeah, Garza, I mean, you're doing incredible work. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, there is that statistic that 85% of the incarcerated come from fatherless homes.
Right.
And if you
Yeah.
know that, then what are you doing
Right.
as a
Yeah.
mother or a father?
Right.
Suck it up. You're the one that chose that other person. If you had a child with them, deal with it, do something about it. If you're not going to be married to them and you want to move because of DV or whatever, then do it and
Right.
choose 50-50, because now you don't have to see your abuser. You don't have to interact with them anymore. And it's better for you. It's better for everyone.
Yeah. No, and I love that you said that you chose to lay with him because, I mean, again, I always tell people that. It's like, yeah, my case, what's been done to me and my son is completely inappropriate, but I still made I chose to be with this person. I had a child with this person. So now I'm in this situation. So it's up to me to deal with it and fix it. That's it. It's my responsibility, no one else's. So that's the world. But
Take the responsibility. You pick that person.
right.
You
And
had a
what's
child.
that say about me at that time? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not saying I was some terrible person, but obviously I wasn't where I needed to be mentally, emotionally, spiritually if I was with that type of person, you know? Obviously I wasn't the best person. So,
Yeah,
but yeah.
yeah. But we
So,
all grow.
right, we all grow. Right, Robert. Well, okay, what do you got coming up, man? Yeah, what do you got going on?
I need to write about 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, about 6 more bills. So
Okay.
6 times 50, it's 300 more bills, something like that. So
300 more bills to write.
yeah,
Yeah.
350 more bills. Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Yep.
Man, I mean, do you got anyone do you got a team at all that's able to help you write these bills, or are you kind of protective of it?
Writing, no. I welcome anyone's input on all the bills.
Right.
If somebody has a better idea, I have no problem. I'll dump my bill in a second. I never want into consequences for my bills. If someone has a better idea, perfect, even better. I can do away with that one and work on the other ones. I am totally good with all that. If you want to say, hey, I think it should have this included in it. Now, in saying that, I welcome critique, but I've also they're one pagers. So you can only fit so many things on one page. So even like the New Start Equality, they're like, oh, well, we need child support in it. No, absolutely not. That is something totally different. There's another bill for that if you want to do that. So in anything that I've written, I can. There's always somebody, and that's why I'm like, because they're like, well, it doesn't say this, it doesn't say that. I don't care if I say it's black. They're gonna be like, well, why didn't you put white in it? If I say green, it's well, where's blue? Like,
Right.
there's always somebody, and
Right.
so you can't solve everything. But these bills solve about 90% of what the issue is. There's always percent area that you're not going to solve because people have special circumstances, or you're fighting a narcissist or someone bipolar or whatever, and you can't legislate that.
Or a
Just so
bipolar narcissist.
yeah, you can't legislate that.
No, you cannot. So hopefully you can legislate them into the loony bin, but
Yeah. There's criminal laws for that. And that's the thing. Well, I guess you can legislate for that. That's why there's parental alienating behaviors, one of the ones that I have. So you can legislate it, but you're still going to spend, they're still going to put you through the ringer.
yeah, no, they definitely are. No, Robert, you're like you might want to listen to the man and maybe reach out to him. But Robert, thank you, dude. You got anything else before we get out of here that you want to let the people know about?
Yes. So follow me on Facebook.
Okay.
That's where I post most of my stuff. Go to robertgarza.us. So www.robertgarza.us. Sign up to be an advocate. It's totally free. I never charge for legislation whatsoever. Writing
He
bills,
doesn't.
legislating. You can come with me on the road anytime anybody wants. I'll tell you where I'm going to be in your capital. I was just in Denver, Colorado. Lots of advocates showed up. I was very impressed. I mean, I don't know if you saw my live. You can go on
I
my
saw
Facebook
it. Yeah,
page.
you had Dadvocate there and you had a
Yeah,
good crowd. Yeah, it
yeah.
was awesome.
Roma
So
Army. Do you know who that is?
who?
Roma Army. She was another one there.
Yes,
Came
yeah,
down from
yeah, she's got the neck tattoo,
uh-huh,
right?
yep. She
Yeah,
came
she's
down
like
from
very she's freak
Canada.
yeah,
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 she came down from
she
Canada.
talks
Yeah.
some shit, dude. Excuse my language, but like, yeah, sorry, I've cussed too much today, guys. I know
It
this is
it was
FGP.
fun. It was fun to get together with them and
Yeah.
talk about these issues and stuff like that. Nobody recorded it, which is probably great, but yeah, you can probably imagine the conversations with Dadvocate, Roma Army, me, and
My
sitting around a table
gosh.
eating wings or something, so
Dude, I would love to hear Roma Army behind the scenes because yeah, she gets pretty wild online. So like I would love to hear her opinions, see if they're even more unfiltered. So get her and I don't know if you've ever heard of Just Pearly Themes, get her and Just
I do.
Pearly in the same
I know.
room.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I'll be talking to Pearl probably pretty soon too also.
Dude, yes, yes, that is fantastic. I actually I reached out to her. I'm trying to get connected with her. So because I would like to share my story with her. Yeah, but yeah, I like her. She's hardcore. I like all the hardcore people. I just even if I don't agree with I don't agree with anyone on everything, but I appreciate all the people that are out there just kind of just just speaking it unfiltered because we need more of that. So
Yeah. I just thought about that. So, yeah, I'll be talking pretty soon, but can you
are you
imagine?
going on as a guest or what's going on with that with the Just Pearly?
I think I'm probably gonna try to be a guest on her show or whatever, but, she
Yeah.
was supposed to be in Denver, Colorado. It's just that
Mm.
they didn't have enough, what do you call it, security, and
Yeah.
so it wasn't good.
Yeah.
If
Yeah, she definitely needs security too, because yeah,
yeah,
she pisses a lot of people off, so you either love her or hate her, and I love pearly things, so,
yeah.
but
Can you imagine if it's in a room with me, Pearl, Advocate, and Roma Army, like,
oh my bro, that
and
see,
and
and yeah.
maybe throw Jeff Younger in there with us.
Yeah. Well, that's what I love though, because that's what I'm saying. Like there are these type of women that are starting to rise up. And I'm just like, I'm seeing more and more of that. And it's the feminist's worst nightmare. I'm like, this is what we've been waiting on. Like the other side's waking up. And when they do, you ladies no longer have a monopoly on this stuff. So
I don't think there's really anybody, if we all join forces like that, I don't think even just that team that I just told you, what feminist group do you know that can argue with 4 of us on a panel? Like, there's no
they
way.
can't. Well,
No
and
way.
it just helps expose them even more because I mean, honestly, I've noticed with feminists and just certain people that lean certain ways, if you can just hit them with the facts, it always throws them off their game. They get emotional, and so it's just yeah, and feminists do not like facts. So, but anyways, Robert, I don't want to get you in trouble. So, yeah. So, anything else before we get out of here?
Just follow me and join the website. You can take my bills to your legislator and Zoom me in, make
Yeah.
an appointment with them, Zoom me in, pick a bill that would have helped you. Just pick one. You don't have to pick all of them, and let's get it in your state. Whether it's cameras in the courtroom, appealable temporary orders, parental alienating behaviors, time taken, time back, interference with child custody. You can use the 3 strikes or a new start
You
at equality.
Yeah, your recommendation for formula starting out is, correct me if I'm wrong, but start with the time taken, time back bill, and then move to the 3 strikes, and then what was the 3rd one? Am I correct in that?
The 10-day rule for judges,
Yeah, okay.
because at some point we have to fix the judicial system. The 3 strikes and the um, time taken, time back fix interference with your child custody,
Right.
but we have to fix the judges at some point. And that little tweak of the 10-day rule will make your rulings more, you'll get your rulings fast. Plus, it will actually get you into court faster because it won't be so stopped up.
Right. Right.
Eventually it's going to grease that wheel and then that wheel will be able to spin. And so there won't be delays for you to get in there and get your kids backs or get habeas corpuses or, anything that you need from the family.
Well, and I just want to bring this up because dads, some of you probably hear this, and he's got the Eagle shared parenting, and I get it. Some you probably naturally just be like, "Yo, let's start with the equal shared parenting bill." But sometimes you got to massage things in. You got to spoon feed the people. You can't give them too much at once. So there's a strategy to it.
But the shared parenting one, the A New Start Equality, that one's there for all 50 states. Absolutely 100%. Someone take that and put that in
Definitely.
your state if you don't have it, because that one, even if there's already another shared parenting bill, at least both of these will have a chance. One of them will go through.
Yeah.
So you
Well,
can have competing bills.
right, right. And Robert's bills, they're short, they're to the point. They do a good job of sealing up any potential loopholes. And you know that they're not contaminated by the bar association. So that's a good thing.
Actually, the bar association has been for my bills.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I apologize, bar association. I apologize. Okay. So,
You know why though, right? They can't fight it. If you think
right.
about it, like I told you, the 3 strikes,
Yeah.
unless you're telling judges we're not for adhering to what you've already ordered, we don't like this law. They
Yeah.
can't do it.
Yeah. But
They can't
I
do it.
think in general too, I mean, with what you're doing and just everything that happened with Doge and all this other stuff, I think the American Bar Association is definitely feeling a lot of pressure from all angles right now. So, but well, Robert, let's wrap this up, brother. Thank you so much for coming on the show, dude. I appreciate it. Guys, make sure you go to robertgarza.us. Get involved. We need to continue building this army. Robert is the real deal. You don't have to fork out money to get contact with him. He's grassroots as they come. Trust me, I talk to him on a regular basis. He's been helping me out. Allow him to help you out, you guys. So until next episode, make sure you like, share, subscribe. You better hit that notification bell. And as much as I love you, and I'm assuming Robert loves you, God loves you way more than we ever could. Until next episode, we're out. Peace.
Thank you.